what do you expect in the next year for the game? Title, what do you expect or want to see next year in terms of content? New guns, armor pieces, game modes, etc. Personally, I just wish to have back from the first game the option to play as a dreadnought. Yeah, I'm not too sure how they would do that now. For siege mode right now, it is in a good spot for us to just play as our Marines. But yeah, for Dreadnought, I feel like Siege mode would be the option there. Yeah, there would have to be like a Dreadnought-specific version of Siege. So, actually, I think that brings in a good point in a sense that year 2, we could see a nice Siege expansion, maybe some sort of, additional content for Siege mode. That would be great. But yes, actually looking over the roadmap here, Spring, Season 4, Spring. New weapons, new enemy. This is probably going to be patch 9, right? We're definitely getting Siege mode soon. New PvP game mode. I was really excited for PvP to get an update. And PvP actually, expanding as well in year 2 would be great to see. New PvP arena, hey, I'm down. Honestly, if the new PvP game mode is unique enough for me to get excited about it, I will definitely, commit to playing PvP quite a bit if the new mode is good. I would just want to see, confidence from the devs that they would continue updating PvP if that was the case. But yeah, so like Siege mode, PvP, additional content would be great for year 2. Obviously, we're going to get more chapter packs. I know we are looking forward to new weapons, and not to mention the reveal that the devs have been working on a new class. Potentially, maybe we can get another new class. But yeah, to be honest, I don't want to get greedy. So as far as year 2, or at least what do I expect in the next year from the game starting now, yeah, definitely some sort of PvP support would be great. Obviously, we are going to get the, Tech Marine eventually. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, though. Ultimately, Siege mode is going to feel it's going to feel like a milestone for Siege mode when it is put into the game, because this has been a mode we have been waiting for since launch, and as soon as I was able to play it, I knew that this was a game mode that I can see myself playing for an extended period of time. 100% Siege mode feels like it's built for, for grinding and, having a lot of fun with a lot of enemies. It's going to feel like a big battle. To me, the bigger the battles for this game, the better, essentially. Because, yeah, you actually feel like you're, in the 40K war, essentially. But, yeah, obviously Siege mode is going to be monumental. New enemy, I guess that is considering the new Chaos enemy. But yeah, honestly, for year 2, I kind of want to see the new class, obviously. I would love to see an actual new weapon that's like a primary weapon. That would be nice. But yeah, dude, it's kind of wild. We were supposed to get a PvP game mode, and I guess it says spring. That's probably not happening. I maybe for patch 9 we will see new enemy, new weapons, new PvP game mode, new PvP arena. Maybe this is kind of interesting to, basically we just came back to the roadmap, and I feel like this was the updated one from a little bit ago, right? So I haven't seen the roadmap for a long time, and basically just learning about the fact that we were going to have a new PvP game mode this spring. It's a little disappointing that we're not getting it, but ultimately, I'm just super ready for Siege. And then, yeah, anything that is added to PvP would be nice, to be completely honest, for the next year. And I think I would love to see more details about this game mode. I just hope it's unique, you know what I mean? It's not just some... Like, I would love to see a PvP game mode that actually has a little bit of PvE sprinkled in it. That would be cool. I feel like a lot of players, when it comes to PvP nowadays... I don't know, maybe just the traditional PvP formulas just aren't as exciting to invest in. Hey, maybe even PvP leaderboard, that would be cool for year 2. But yeah, ultimately, I am kind of keeping my expectations low-ish. Like, dude, to be honest, people were talking about the new class, and a lot of people are questioning if that was even possible. So the fact that the devs could deliver on a new class, I don't want to say, hey, just do it again, but I would love to see Apothecary as well. Honestly, there's still like a handful of things we could potentially see in the game that could mix it up a bit. But yeah, honestly, Siege mode, PvP mode, those sort of content updates, I think could go a far way. But yeah, let's go into the comments. Let's go see how the community feels about year 2 content. Expectations are pretty standard. A few more chapter packs and armor packs for those who only have a champion currently. I'd imagine at least 1 or 2 new operations. Tech Marine. Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, I didn't even think about how many more operations we could see. I know there's 3 that has been leaked, or at least the titles of the operations have been leaked, or something like that, right? And if we go by like the patch by patch basis, it would be like three patches, obviously, but normally it's kind of like 1 every other patch. So potentially it could take 6 patches to add in 3 operations. Does that sound correct? Maybe there would have to be like maybe 1 or 2 patches that add in operations back to back, maybe. But that's true. We should see more operations. Yeah, that's a fair ask. As far as wants go, I want new primary weapons. I want a librarian and or an apothecary. I'd also really love to see more diverse enemy types from both factions. Yeah, I don't honestly, as far as new enemies, I think we're fine. I mean, we have Chaos and Tyranids. They practically have like infinite options for like new enemies, right? Yeah, Space Marine 2, seriously, if they just went all out with adding new enemies, there would seriously be a lot of random stuff going on our screen. Yeah, I like the way it's paced right now. But yeah, siege mode with like 5 new enemies, it would be a little bit wild. But okay, yes. Chapter packs, obviously. Tech Marine, yes. Oh yeah, here it is. Librarian and or an apothecary. One of these are not like the other. Let's be real. Librarians are insanely powerful classes. I'm not too sure if a librarian would be needed at the moment. However, you got to consider what the main operations squad is, what they are accomplishing. It's definitely within the realm of a librarian tier impact. But as we all know, as far as like actual abilities for librarians, they are incredibly powerful. I mean, they're psychers. And if you ever play Darktide, you know, there's a psyker there, but I'm not too sure how capable that psyker is on Darktide. Like, if you give that psyker on Darktide Terminator armor, is he tantamount to like a captain librarian with Terminator armor? You know what I mean? But that's neither here or there. I think ultimately, even if they did have the option to put in a librarian, I think it should be like a Space Marine 3 class in a sense, where like everything's just, you know, takes a step up in power. Maybe we're battling like, you know, honestly, Space Marine 3 should be Necrons, right? But regardless, in Space Marine 3, it should still take a step up in power. So maybe the classes would have a little bit of an edge when it comes to, you know, making them feel more powerful. Like a librarian would feel kind of appropriate if we were battling Necrons or like demons or anything like that. But as for Space Marine 2, Apothecary. Straight up. If the devs are doing anything with Invigorating Icon as far as nerfing it or changing it or whatever, and even if, what if, they probably won't, but what if they go back on Unmatched Zeal as well? If they adjust both those perks and, you know, nerf them, essentially, that would be upsetting. But the only way I would accept that, the only way I would accept them nerfing any of the heal perks in the game, is if they add Apothecary. That would be cool. But as of right now, they did not confirm Apothecary. We have Tech Marine on its way, which is nice. I can't wait for that. That's going to feel so good. But yeah, as far as, you know, something like adding in the Apothecary into the game, it would be a little bit weird if we had Icon and Zeal still like operate the way they do, because you can imagine like a Vanguard Bulwark Apothecary team, they legit might never take health damage. they might be healing themselves the entire time throughout the operation. So I honestly, I feel like the Apothecary, as fitting as the class is within the game itself at the moment, I think Apothecary could potentially be too powerful in the sense of healing if you contribute the fact that we could also have Unmatched Zeal and Icon. Regardless, Apothecary would be nice. Like, to be completely honest, as a Bulwark player, if they want to nerf Icon to add in a healing class, I would take it. But I would still want Icon to operate in a sense that can support our health bars, because it would be kind of a pain for an Apothecary to be necessary for every run because of the healing. I think we've talked about this before, and that's why Apothecary can kind of be a pain when it comes to balancing. Maybe Librarian's better then in that case. Maybe Librarian would be a better fit. But yeah, ultimately, I think asking for a second like class, it might be a little crazy, Because consider if we do get a new class, we were gonna have 7 classes in this game, and that would be nice. But having 8 classes sounds like a lot, right? But hey, you know what? Regardless, the devs are definitely capable to add in a new class. So, I mean, that is something to look forward to when it comes to year 2. I think Tech Marine should be year 2, but we're not 100% sure yet. Please, please, please let me change my teammates' AI loadouts and put their helmets on. Maybe let me change their colors. Maybe let me tell them to pick up different grenades. You know what, that's a good point. Yeah, the bots always have regular grenades, right? But yeah, honestly, a lot of people asked about, you know, switching up the AI loadout. I think that's definitely something that should be possible in year 2. Now, I'm just not too sure how necessary it is, to be honest. Like, at first we wanted to switch out the loadouts because, like, it does sound cool, you know, to customize the bots you play with. I do think that sounds cool. But, like, is there really going to be a difference between, you know, the heavy bot having, like, a heavy bolter or a melta or something like that? Or, like, giving the heavy bot, like, a plasma. Maybe that could be OP. Doubt it. That'll be OP. I don't think it will be OP. Now, put the helmets on. Yeah. As far as, like, yeah, obviously cosmetic customization outside of, you know, weapon customization. I feel like, yeah, anything you want to do as far as making your bots look cool, I think that should be something that goes without saying. It would be nice if the devs just added more bot customization in general, but I think a lot of people wanted to, you know, basically give colors to their bots. Again, though, I'm not 100% sure how necessary something like that would be, but we did see the devs show off, you know, like beard and head customization. So, I mean, I guess if they could pull that off, like, what's the big deal to give, like, your bot teammates, like, Black Templar colors and meltas? That does sound cool. Like, I'd be down for that. Would it be more fun than, like, you know, joining a online lobby? Probably not, but it would still be cool to see some bot customization for offline players. I think that would definitely be something that could contribute to some replayability if you just want to, you know, have fun and make a team full of meltas. Like a team full of Inferno pistols too. Like, I don't know, that would be cool. I'm always curious whether they will continue this division of Season Pass and free updates, because at some point it may not be worth it, and I think it's commendable that they probably won't exclude any player from the game itself for a year. Unless you want to make a Fashion Marine. At that moment, I wouldn't have a problem spending a few euros on a new Season Pass to keep the game alive and up to date for longer. So far, I'm very satisfied. There's always something to complain about, but compared to other games, I think it's been done well so far. I mean, yeah, I agree. Other games definitely have huge issues when it comes to dev communication. I think we get really lucky with this dev team that they're very hands-on with telling us what they plan on doing. Nowadays, yeah, it can feel very inconsistent as far as dev communication and, you know, effort to, you know, how much effort they put in to keep the game alive and such like that. I know Saber, at least a few people told me, like, they don't really just abandon games. Like, they could, you know, they could pace updates a little slow, but they don't just straight up abandon games. And I think this conversation about a second season pass is kind of interesting. I'd admit that I'm not 100% sure if a lot of people would be excited to pay for a second season pass if it's just cosmetics. Even though I do think cosmetics would be cool, it would definitely need to add in some more free updates and, you know, all that. I think more players are interested into, you know, they're more interested in actual new content. Cosmetics are cool. I think they're cool, and yes, I wouldn't mind paying for some if that meant more content was on the way. Sheesh, I'm not 100% sure what they plan on doing with a second possible season pass, or like what they plan on doing with the next season, or sorry, the next roadmap. The devs already said they definitely need to talk about that soon, so yeah, we're gonna keep, you know, we will keep our ears and eyes to the internet to see what's going on with that. But yeah, ultimately, I think if they wanted to do a second season pass, it would definitely have to tie into some additional content that potentially could be something like an expansion. That would be cool. I would be down. Like, for example, if the second season pass was more of a DLC, you know what I mean? That guaranteed that you would get cosmetics that are coming out, but you get not free content, but you would get like a campaign expansion. I would hate to say they would sell an operation, you know what I mean? Like, I can't really think of any sort of any sort of new content that you could buy immediately, I can't really think of anything that would tie into like multiplayer, Like if they were to sell an expansion, it's going to tie into the campaign. So it would be kind of interesting to see them say like, oh, this second season pass will have a new campaign. That would be great. A lot of people would be excited for that. And I guess it would maybe be like 3 missions or something, maybe like a 3-hour campaign or something. It's going to be like $20, but you guarantee you have all the cosmetics that come out and stuff like that. I think that would be fine. But again, it would have to be commendable for the devs to put that much effort into, basically selling a second season pass that actually comes with an expansion. That's kind of why, that's actually kind of why I kind of point at expanding PvP and siege mode. I think like maybe a Dreadnought siege mode update, that would be kind of cool. But like, yeah, it's really hard to imagine the devs pulling all of that off. You know what I mean? Like just with what we have right now, which is nice. I feel like, yes, we have the season pass right now. It is going to go into siege mode. It's going to go in the next patch. But eventually, when we're done with all the content from the roadmap, to introduce more roadmap content would have to come with a new season pass. And yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this one, because this one's definitely, I can't just say, oh, this is the right way to do it, because ultimately it's going to come down to what people are willing to pay. You know what I mean? Would I pay for the season pass again if it was similar to the content we have now? Yeah, probably. Just the one thing that was kind of concerning at first was just, paying. I do agree. It's an expensive hobby nowadays, gaming, and it's kind of rough paying for like $100 for a game, and then like seeing the full game come out months down the line. That's the only reason why I try to like think of ways that the devs could add in like content for the next season pass immediately when they sell the next season pass. Like, oh, here's Dreadnought Siege mode for you. If you pay money for the next season pass, you get this expansion. That I want to see something like that. You know what I mean? But yes, I would like to see free content into the game. I'm just trying to kind of navigate how this would be possible for the devs, because even off the top of my head, it's kind of like, sheesh, dude. If they add in a campaign to this game, that's going to be a lot of work they are doing with this game, and I would love to see it. But it is commendable. That's kind of the point. It's not like, oh, like what, should we give the devs $60 for a DLC because they worked very hard? No, but you have to, at some point in time, you have to commend the devs for kind of steering from the traditions we see nowadays, where it's just like, oh, here's a new skin, it's $20. Like, they're trying to find ways where we can customize our champion skins. So I can't help but be hopeful for the future when they're already listening this closely to what people want and are delivering. Sure, maybe it could come out faster, whatever. And sure, maybe sometimes they come up short with certain cosmetics. But they are definitely listening and definitely doing their best with what they can. But yeah, ultimately, they can definitely sell some disappointing cosmetics. Did the Blood Angels need a little bit more? Sure, but if there's a second year of the game, we might see a Blood Angels champion skin for the Assault class that everyone wanted, and that would be great. You know what I mean? So yeah, ultimately, I think it's important to kind of navigate our hopes in a way that is manageable, and we're not getting too hyped up. But like a second season pass is definitely something that kind of racks my brain a bit, where I'm just not too sure how they would be able to pull that off in the same aspect as they did before, because then you potentially could see players pay like $20, $40 and not get anything for months. You know what I mean? That would be disappointing. So they would definitely, if they did a second season pass, they would definitely need to tie it in to something immediately that you could play that is new, at least in my opinion. But with that said, that is also very hard for the devs to pull off, because expecting new content, and especially paid new content, they definitely have to make sure that it feels like new content and not just, oh, here's one level. You know what I mean? Here's an operation for $20. You know what I mean? That's terrible. It would have to feel expansive. It would have to feel like an additional piece to the game rather than just a chore, essentially. So yeah, it's hard to navigate. It's definitely hard to navigate something like a second season pass. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about it. A second season pass got me excited at first, but then the more I thought about it, the more it started to bum me out because I'm like, sheesh, I'm not too sure how they could pull that off, you know? So, hey, ultimately, let me know in the comments if you guys have any thoughts for Year 2 content. I know I'd rambled on the second season pass for a long time. So, yeah, definitely let me know in the comments if you guys have anything to add in when it comes to the next year of content. Are you prepared for the devs to do something big for Year 2, or are you more in line with your, like, basically, are you expecting a huge Year 2, or are you expecting the devs to just kind of mosey along with Year 2 and just periodically add in some things here and there? Yeah, ultimately a new class is even more than I expected months ago. But now that we see a new class, I try to, navigate my hopes a bit where, we're not getting too hyped up. But yeah, regardless, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about Year 2, and thanks for watching.